Hello, fellow traveler. Did you lose the trail? Come, have a seat by the fire. This is no night to be wandering these woods alone. You see, this is a special night, one rarely seen. Let me tell you a story to make the hours pass, one not many know of and even fewer believe to be real. What do you see in this piece of stone? Yes, it is small, not much to look at, and to most, not of any particular use. Yet it is not of irrelevance to the story that I am about to share with you. You see, every 100 years or so, a strange event occurs. As the days grow short and the nights long, a night darker than others ensues. It is said that when the moon leaves the sky, as darkness envelops the land and the stars awaken, you can hear the sounds of being rarely seen. And if one lingers in the dark shadows waiting for sight to return, things that any other night would seem to be one thing appear to be another. It was during a night like this that a small, in the scope of the world, insignificant creature with no name was born.
What is this place?
The insignificant creature without a name wondered as it emerged from the ground and began to explore the dark world. As the small creature explored its surroundings, tiny drops of rain began to fall from the dark sky. As the small creature walked across the field, stalks began to sprout from the wet soil. The small creature managed to pick up a handful of oats off the stalks. The small creature tried to brush some of the dirt off as it picked up the old kettle. The small creature picked up the sewing needle with care, making sure not to hurt itself. In the remains of the old crate, the small creature found a ball of yarn. As the creature approached the corner of the room, a grumpy voice emanated from the darkness.
Who are you to enter my home uninvited? If you came to steal, know that a meager creature like you would be no match for me.
In the dark corner sat an old hustumpt, staring at the creature.
Please forgive me.
The small creature responded anxiously.
I didn't mean to disturb you. I was simply curious about this place. I'm lost, you see.
The hustumpt looked at the creature for quite a while before breaking the silence.
Well, you certainly don't look capable enough to be the thieving kind,
he muttered to himself.
But if I find that you conspired with him to steal my hat, you will be sorry you revealed yourself to me.
The hustumpt became quiet for a while, seemingly calming down.
Although perhaps I could be persuaded to part with a couple of my belongings in return for something to calm my hunger. After all, most of these items have been gathering dust down here for as long as I can remember. But don't bring me anything fancy. I don't like brown-nosed in. Anything that will take care of my growling stomach will do.
The small creature filled the kettle to the brim with cold water. The small creature barely managed to pick up the heavy grinding stone. The creature searched the ground for anything useful. Amongst the shattered bones, one piece seemed to be sharper than the others. Reaching into the hole, the small creature felt something flat, round and hard. As it removed the object from the hole, it saw that it was an old coin.
Hey!
An angry voice emanated from the shed as the creature was about to pick up the piece of cloth laying on the ground.
I found that. If you want it, you'll just have to bring me something else that I can use.
The guard Stomped was staying inside of the shed, out of the creature's reach.
Hello?
The small creature said politely.
Who are you?
The guard Stomped looked at the creature.
I'm the one who looks after this place. No simple task, mind you. The master of the farm hasn't been tending to the land enough this season, so I have to make up for his stupidity by working myself to the bone.
The guard Stomped muttered in a stern yet slightly proud voice.
You're a small one, aren't you? I haven't seen something like you before. Where did you come from?
The small creature looked at the guard Stomped.
I'm not sure. I remember waking up beneath a stone mound, and as I crawled out, the first thing I saw was the stars. Do you know why I'm here?
The small creature asked hopefully.
I see. Beneath the old stone mound.
The guard Stomped appeared to remember something, becoming quiet for a moment before continuing.
No, I'm afraid I don't know why you were born into this place, little one. Nor do I think there is truly a place for you here at the farm. You should look for a place of your own elsewhere.
The small creature hung its head for a moment after hearing the guard Stomped's response.
Don't fret, little one. You'll find your place in this world, I'm sure of it. This farm has simply never been that place.
As the small creature touched it, the top part of the shaft easily came off. The small creature hung the water-filled kettle above the fireplace. Even though the fire had been put out, the coals seemed too hot to touch. The small creature carefully removed the hot kettle from the fireplace. As the small creature used a sharp piece of bone to cut the stitches that held the cloth in place, the scarecrow sprung to life, quietly watching its visitor. The small creature carefully picked up the bowl along with the dried flowers.
Would this be enough to replace the cloth?
The small creature asked as it presented the hay to the guard stomped.
Hey, well, I suppose I could use that instead. I only found this piece of cloth the other night while keeping an eye on the field, but it's already becoming too dirty to wipe my feet on.
The guard stomped responded as he handed the dirty piece of cloth to the small creature.
Maybe you can find some other use for it. You sure didn't hurry now, did you?
The husk-stumped muttered.
Were you planning on letting me wait all night after I let you take my belongings?
The small creature looked meekly at the floor.
Well, no matter, this will stave off the hunger.
The husk-stumped brought a spoon out from under his thick beard and began to eat.
Since you've already helped yourself to some of my objects, I hardly think a reward should be necessary.
The small creature hung its head as the husk-stumped put another spoonful into his mouth.
Fine. Here, I borrowed this from the wretched one. I have no use for it, so you might as well take it. Now go away.
As the husk-stumped filled the spoon once more, a long strand of thick silver hair came off and landed on the ground in front of the small creature, who saw no harm in picking it up.
My hat. He had it, didn't he? That wretched thief.
The husk-stumped put the hat on his head and made a sigh of relief.
There, that's how things should be.
The husk-stumped looked at the small creature,
I suppose you want something for this, even though you've already taken my things.
The Hustump said grumpily as the small creature's eyes seemed to grow a little bigger.
Here, I found this hammerhead while I was looking for my hat. It's missing its shaft, so I don't know what use you would have for it, but the difficulty of a task should determine the reward, don't you agree?
Is that what I think it is?
The Guardstomp exclaimed as the small creature approached him.
Is that my whetstone? Where did you find it? I don't even remember the last time I saw it.
The Guardstomp let out a sigh of relief.
Thank you for finding it for me, little one. My old worn-down tools have been the only thing standing in the way of me bringing this farm back on its feet.
The Guardstomp rummaged around inside the shed.
I'm afraid I can't find much of a reward for you. This old hammer shaft is of good quality, but I seem to have misplaced the metal head. I can't understand how I managed to lose these things.
The Guardstomp scratched his forehead as he handed the hammer shaft to the small creature.
Perhaps you can find a use for it, little one. I'm sorry I can't offer you a better reward.
Using the fishing rod it just made, the small creature was able to reach the large glowing star in the middle of the spring. As the star's glow broke the surface of the water, an old gold bracelet took its place. As the small creature pulled the golden bracelet into the hole, a larger alva appeared sitting on the stone. This alva was more beautiful than anything the creature could have imagined, with white glowing hair flowing over the rough surface of the stone, and a shining silver crown on her head. The small creature's humbled words broke the silence.
Hello. I don't want to disturb you, beautiful queen, but if you would allow me but a few moments of watching your people dance, I would be most content. I don't know where else to go, as I don't know where I belong in this world.
The elf queen remained silent, yet seemingly not displeased by the presence of the small creature. As the dance continued, the creature watched the glowing beings in silence, entranced by their beauty. Suddenly, in a chanting voice soft as a whisper, the elf queen spoke. Her words were not of this world, and even though the creature could not understand them, it felt their power within its small body. As the elf queen started to fade along with her dancing alvor, the smaller circle of mushrooms began to glow, as if responding to her enchanting voice. As the creature faded from the circle, it felt as if reappearing someplace else, leaving the farmlands far behind. Yet the creature was saddened, for even though the beings inhabiting the farm might not have given it the kindest of welcomes into this world, it had felt like a small part of their existence, recognized as a being. albeit an insignificant one, of its own. Now, as the small creature once more began to explore its unfamiliar surroundings, it felt alone.
The mouldy stick had suddenly been set aflame and quickly burned to a crisp. All that remained was a pile of ash and a small piece of the charred stick.
The creature picked up the charred stick.
This surely is a beautiful place. But why did the Elf Queen send me here?
The creature wondered as it looked out across the glimmering lake, doubting that there would be a place for someone such as it along its shores. After getting entangled in the fishing net for a while, the small creature finally managed to pick it up. The small creature reached out and grabbed the strange plants. The small creature placed the bulrush pods on the stone. As the bulrush began to smolder, a trail of smoke emerged and began its journey towards the sky. As the alvor started to cough from the thick smoke, a thin trail of alv dust fell from one of them, forming a small pile on the ground. The small creature managed to scoop up the glowing pile of alv dust. The small creature picked up the mysterious shell.
Hello?
The small creature said as loud as it could, trying to get the attention of the natram up on the tree branch. Missing its right eye, the natram had to turn its head to see the creature.
Who are you?
The small creature asked politely, even though the natram hadn't responded to its greeting. The natram twitched its head back and forth to be able to study the creature thoroughly. Then it started to speak.
Yes, I can see your past. You are a very helpful creature. Kind, yes. Risen from the grave, familiar, yes. But the future, I cannot see. No. The future lies within the right eye. Yes, the right eye will tell you what is about to come. Once the right eye is back in the void, the future will reveal itself before your very eyes, yes.
The natram called out, clacking with its beak. With just a faint touch, the bark cracked and fell down into the small creature's hand. As the small creature reached the bottom of the well, it was welcomed by two glaring eyes staring at it suspiciously.
Hello?
The small creature said, meeting the eyes' glaring gaze. The pair of eyes kept staring at the creature as if they were waiting for something. The creature could feel the eyes burrowing into it like daggers and began to look around the well to avoid the eyes' penetrating gaze.
You have a very nice home down here in the well.
The small creature said in an attempt to get the one on the wall to talk. Without having blinked once, the eyes were still maintaining their intense stare. After a moment of silence, the broomscuba started to speak.
Well, aren't you going to say anything? You barge into my home, uninvited I might add, and you don't even have the manners to introduce yourself. Who do you think you are?
I did introduce myself.
The small creature mumbled, hurt by the broomscuba's harsh accusation.
Not a day goes by without someone new falling down into my well. All you do is stare at me. It's rude, that's what it is. You think it's good manners to just come down here and do as you please? Where are the gifts? The knock on the lid and the water? Where is my damn water? I'm not much of a guardian with nothing to guard now, am I?
The broomscuba muttered as he inspected the creature.
Can you hear me?
The small creature asked cautiously.
Bah, this one doesn't even understand it has by far overstayed its welcome.
The broomscuba said to himself with a sigh.
Scram, come back when you got something to say. You're a real eyesore.
I don't think he can hear me very well.
The small creature thought to itself as it glanced at the broomscuba, still maintaining his terrifying gaze while mumbling to himself.
Can you hear me now?
The small creature asked as it placed the shell in the broomscuba's ear.
What?
The broomscuba's fierce stare disappeared abruptly upon the surprising discovery.
I haven't had any visitors speaking to me in a long time. Very well. Good manners is a rare thing these days. I suppose you could have one of the gifts I've been given over the years. Cherish it like I have, and you will surely find it useful one day.
I will. Thank you.
The small creature said with a humble bow. After much effort, the small creature managed to pull the shovel out of the ground. As the creature opened its mouth to introduce itself, Nakan began to speak. "Why, hello there, little one. Who might you be?" Nakan said with a charming smile. The creature began, but Nakan quickly interrupted. "Aren't you a talkative little one?"
But
The small creature tried, but Nakan interrupted once more. Is there anything you can do besides staring like an imbecile? Nacken continued, now with a snide smirk on his face. Just stare at me. Stare like those pesky Alvor swirling around in the trees with their magic, flaunting their melodies as if they think them to be better than mine. Preposterous! The lake is my domain, and mine alone. If only I could leave the water, I might be able to get a hold of their secrets, Nacken muttered as he stroked his chin in thought. Anyway, my problems with the Alvor are none of your business. Why don't you use your tiny little feet and skip away out of my sight like a little bunny? Hop, hop, Nacken exclaimed, making a waving gesture towards the small creature. The small creature poured the glowing alv dust into the lake. This feeling, I can feel them, their power coursing through me. Maybe you aren't as useless as I thought. Here's a bottle for your troubles. I'm sure you can use it for whatever it is you do, Nacken said with a sarcastic look. You may still be able to prove yourself slightly competent. Get me one of their melodies. I want to see for myself just what makes their songs so captivating. Your reward will be greater next time. With the help of the shovel, the small creature managed to remove a large enough section of the nettles for it to pass through. A branch covered in berries came loose as the creature grasped it with its hand.
Hello there. I hope I'm not disturbing you.
The small creature said anxiously as it approached the alva on the stone, hoping that she would not turn away at the sight of it. The alva slowly looked up at the creature as she wiped away a tear rolling down her chin.
What's the matter?
The small creature asked as it tilted its head in wonder. The alva gave the creature a sad look before turning round to expose her wingless back.
I see.
The small creature said.
Please don't cry. Perhaps I can help you. Don't worry.
The alva clutched her hands together and looked at the creature with pleading eyes.
I might be in over my head this time. I hope I can keep my promise.
The creature thought as it slowly walked away.
If it's not too much trouble, do you think you could share your beautiful song with me?
The small creature asked nervously. The wingless alva's face lit up for a moment, giving the creature a slight nod before writing down the notes on the paper.
I've never met someone as beautiful as her, but still she appears so sad.
The creature looked down at its tiny hands.
If there is some way for me to make her smile, I want to find it.
You may still be able to prove yourself slightly competent. Get me one of their melodies. I want to see for myself just what makes their songs so captivating. Your reward will be greater next time. Now, this is surprising. I didn't actually think you could obtain something like this, Nakan said, seemingly impressed by the melody written on the note sheet. Very well. I suppose you have earned somewhat of a reward. Look into the shallow water at your feet. There should be something suitable buried in the sand. As the creature searched the bottom, it found a large mussel. Now I don't have time for you anymore. With this melody and my ability, I'll be able to surpass all others. As Nakan disappeared into the murky water, a subtle violin could be heard stemming from the depths of the lake. Using the iron ring, the creature was able to break the mussel. As it shattered, a gleaming pearl was revealed. The creature reached down and picked up the exposed pearl.
The void has been closed, and once again the coming times are mine to behold.
The Natrum croaked as it stared into the distance.
Your future is dark, yes, tumbling down into nothingness. The darkness swallows you whole, yes. There is more. Crumbling, yes, crumbling, and then a light shining through the darkness. Escape quickly. Escape the darkness, or it will swallow you once again.
The Natrum went silent as it once again stared into the distance. As the Natrum finished its foretelling of the small creature's fate, it spread its wings and flew away over the trees, bringing the conversation to an abrupt end. During its departure, the Natrum had shook off 2 of its black feathers that slowly fell to the ground.
Maybe I can use these to help the sad Alva.
The creature said, watching the Natrum's silhouette grow smaller and smaller before disappearing amongst the treetops. Using the sticky mucus, the creature was able to glue together the 2 feathers.
Yes, perhaps this will do.
It thought, proud of its creation.
Here you go. Wings.
The small creature said cheerfully and held out its creation. The Alva gave the 2 feathers glued together by the snail mucus a doubtful look.
Try them on.
The small creature exclaimed. The Alva stood up and tried to put the wings on her back, but they just fell to the ground. They were simply too heavy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I will bring you something else.
The small creature stuttered, its face turning slightly red. The Alva let out a disappointed sigh and once more sat down on the stone, resting her head in her tiny hands.
The toadstools are spreading rapidly. If nothing is done, they'll cover both me and my well. Stop them, I beg you.
The broomscuba let out a calm sigh at the sight of the nettles.
That should do the trick, at least for a while.
The broomscuba looked at the creature.
You need to escape this place. You can't stay here. The toadstools will soon engulf this part of the forest. Hurry! Flee while you still can.
As the creature turned around, it noticed the increasing amount of ominous toadstools beginning to move a bit too close for comfort. Heeding the broomscuba's warning, it decided to find a way to leave the lake.
The sad Alva.
The small creature suddenly remembered.
Without wings, she won't be able to escape by herself.
The creature filled the bottle with a fresh batch of the hag's colorful brew. As the creature fed the warm brew to the squeaking chick, it coughed up a decomposing part of a previous meal. Upon being fed, the chick quietened down, and a content look came over its previously agitated face. Meanwhile, the creature took the opportunity to quickly grab the smelly ingredient off of the ground. As the fire blazed, sparks from the embers landed on the hag's foot, igniting the flammable brew. Aggravated by the burn, she quickly released the wingless Alva from her clutch, turning her attention towards the small creature.
I'd better hurry.
It exclaimed, feeling the hag's rage building. As soon as the Alva fell from the hag's grasp, the creature saw its chance, and with the tiny being on its shoulder, tumbled down into the safety of the mountain. As their eyes slowly became accustomed to the darkness, a massive cave opened up before them. The creature beheld it in silence for a while, before remembering its new acquaintance.
Are you all right?
It asked. The Alva gave the creature a faint smile, removing a couple of pebbles from her fragile hands.
At least she won't be able to get us down here. Why do you think she was so interested in you?
The Alva tilted her head, apparently as puzzled as the small creature.
Well, no matter now. I guess we need to explore these caves for another exit.
The creature said.
I still have a promise to keep, don't I?
The wingless Alva looked up at the creature, her glow slightly more vibrant than before. The small creature picked up the twig, thinking it might be of some use.
Brother, I think we've been discovered.
The tall Vata whispered nervously to the short one.
Nonsense.
The short Vata said with a confident look.
Just stick to the plan.
But the beast is not leaving.
The tall Vata whispered, making a befuddled face.
Why is the beast not leaving?
As long as our dear brother returns with something to get our belongings out of the hole, we just stick to the plan, all right?
The short Vata whispered, giving his brother a stern look.
Right.
The tall Vata responded loudly, straightening his back in attention. As they walked through the dark tunnels, the creature turned to the Alva.
I'm sorry you were taken from your home at the lake. I don't know if I could find my way back there.
It said with an apologetic look, but the Alva didn't seem saddened. In fact, she appeared to glow brighter than before, if only by a little.
Hey you, Sticky Fingers, quit skulking in the shadows and move over to the smelter so I can see you. Oh, I see. A couple of new Sticky Fingers made their way into my mountain.
From atop a chest next to the smelter, a crouching Svartalv was glaring at the small creature and its new-found friend.
I shall make it simple enough for your tiny minds. Since this mine belongs to me now, I've decided not to give you anything at all. So go away. I've got enough sneaky Sticky Fingers to keep an eye on already.
The small creature looked at its friend before trying to talk to the Svartalv.
I apologize for carelessly wandering into your home, but we would never take something that someone else values so highly.
The Svartalv frowned.
Of course you wouldn't just decide to take a pleasant walk through the deepest parts of my mountain. Just because I've yet to find any treasure doesn't mean it doesn't belong to me.
The Svartalv reached into his pocket before throwing a small rock at the creature.
There, worthless piece of rock that you can have. There are plenty of those for you in these walls, Sticky Fingers.
Would this allow me to use the smelter?
The small creature asked. The Svartalv bit into the iron coin before putting it into his pocket.
Look at that, Sticky Fingers. You had something of value after all, and now you don't. Fine, don't pester me anymore. Use the smelter.
The creature decided to bring the wooden stick with it. Underneath one of the blankets, the small creature found an old stringless bow. The earthquake had rocked the pickaxe loose, allowing the creature to pick it up.
Noise, always hammering, striking the walls, loud, foul beings. Strike, strike, strike. It is not theirs to take.
The gruff Roo mumbled to herself, seemingly not noticing the small creature next to her.
Unforgivable. Strike, strike, strike. The rock falls. A spell. Hide it. Yes. They won't leave. Why? They can't see where to strike. This won't do. My love.
For a brief moment, the gruff Roo's voice became soft.
Soon he will arrive. No, for him to see me like this, my appearance unsightly, their fault. Strike, 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 then silence. Pristine. I can't wait to leave these caves behind us. They're a bit creepy, aren't they? Do you know of a place on the outside that could help you get your wings to grow?
The creature asked. The Alva shrugged her shoulders, looking back at it with big eyes.
Oh, well, I'm sure we'll find someone that can tell us what to do.
The creature responded in an unsteady voice.
Who goes there?
The fat Vata wailed as confidently as he could.
Who are you?
I don't know.
The small creature said with a troubled brow.
What do you mean you don't know?
The fat Vata said as his fear turned to curiosity.
I only recently found myself in this world. I don't know where I belong.
The creature stated sadly.
That's odd.
The fat Vata said before turning silent, wondering if that was even possible. After a while, the fat Vata seemed to have regained his focus.
Enough of your petty problems. Mine are far more severe, and they just keep adding up. There I was, playing my flute as I was searching this wretched mountain after something to retrieve my and my brother's belongings with when she came running towards me. My music must not have been to her liking, I suppose.
The fat Vata said, looking puzzled as he scratched his head.
If she sees me again, I don't know what she will do to me.
The fat Vata's eyes slowly filled with fear.
Could you help me sneak past her? You can have my flute, and I'm sure my kin will reward you greatly.
I suppose I could.
The small creature responded, even though it was just as afraid as the fat Vata was.
It's all ruined. We can't eat this,
The short Vata said, waving his tiny arms in the air.
Brother, the beast has returned.
The tall Vata said, tapping his brother on the shoulder.
The plan!
The short Vata cried out.
Brothers,
The fat Vata said happily.
I'm back again. It seems my brothers are disappointed with my efforts.
The fat Vata said with a heavy sigh as he awkwardly took his place beside the tall Vata.
If they are not willing to talk, I guess I will have to find you a reward myself.
The fat Vata muttered as he rummaged around on the floor.
It's not much, but here you go. I'm truly grateful for your help.
The small creature reached down into the box and found an old mushy apple.
Hello?
The small creature said nervously. The hedgehog took no notice of the greeting, but the creature could hear a faint growl coming from its stomach.
I guess it's hungry.
The hedgehog quickly snatched the apple out of the small creature's hands and hurried back to its den. In its retreat, it had brushed off a couple of its spines on the ground.
I suppose I could take these with me.
The small creature said, saddened that the hedgehog didn't seem to want to become its friend. The small creature carefully began to comb the Gruffrew's hair, attempting to calm her down.
He will arrive soon.
Preparations, yes. I will welcome him at last. My appearance. What will he see? The Gruffrew seemed slightly more relaxed, letting go of a pair of clamps that she had been frantically grasping. As the Gruffrewd didn't seem to want them anymore, the creature decided to bring the clamps with it. Looking into the mirror, the Gruffrewd appeared pleased.
I see.
Yes, this will do. My love, he will arrive shortly. Too much time being spent hiding what they sought. Striking, hammering. Why? Unnecessary. They are no longer here.
After the creature had managed to align the correct combination of symbols, it was able to lift the heavy chest lid. Inside, the creature found a sack of fresh food along with an old metal mug.
Thief! Sticky fingers, this belongs to me! All of it!
The Svartalv yelled as the small creature moved closer to the silver vein.
Magical, shining, glimmering, wanting me to have it. You shall have nothing.
The beast is back, brother.
The tall Vata whispered cautiously. Remember the plan, the short Vata responded with a clenched jaw.
But it's presenting us with fresh supplies.
The tall Vata mumbled as his mouth began to water. Hush, the beast can do whatever it likes. Be quiet while I try to distract it. The short Vata responded, throwing an old saw blade across the cave. As they turned silent, the small creature carefully picked up the shining object while leaving the supplies beside the stalagmites. The small creature used the saw it had assembled to cut through the thick root. The creature quietly watched as the thick sap engulfed the rock, coating it in a golden layer, quickly hardening from the cold of the mountain.
What's that you have there, Sticky Fingers? Wherever did you find this gem?
The Svartalv's eyes fixated on the amber.
It's glowing. I need it. Give it to me.
The small creature pondered what to do as the Svartalv continued.
What? Well, how about this? I'll allow you to take a small piece of ore from my silver vein. How does that sound? A small chunk? What do you say?
Before the small creature could answer, the Svartalv quickly put the amber into his pocket.
A trade is a trade. Now leave. I've already said you could have a small piece of my silver ore if you can get it out of the wall, that is.
The Svartalv grinned as he kept his hands protectively over his pocket. Using the pickaxe, the creature managed to chop off a small chunk of silver ore. creature put the small chunk of ore into the hot smelter and waited as thick molten silver poured out from underneath it. The creature carefully filled the dipper to the brim with molten silver. As the creature poured the molten silver into the cast, it cracked, making it possible for the small creature to push it aside. As the cast was removed, a shining silver bell was revealed. The sound of bells, especially ones made out of silver, are said to be horrific to certain evil beings. Trying its hardest, the creature managed to pick up the heavy silver bell. Using the saw, the creature managed to create a hole large enough for it to pass through. Resonated throughout the cave, the ground began to quake. The previously lifeless Burgress had awoken from his long slumber, enraged by the noise made by the small creature and its friend. As the mountain continued to shake by the Burgress's movements, a part of the cave wall began to crumble, falling apart before the small creature's eyes. The creature peeled off some of the moist moss. Using the thick roots, the creature was able to traverse the foul water. As the creature placed the dried flowers in the vase, it felt a chilling gust of wind moving across its small body. Out of thin air, a transparent entity appeared, floating above the gravestone.
Hello! Hello!
The Lichtgruber shouted as the creature approached him.
Hello there!
The small creature responded, happy to be welcomed for once.
Hello! Where are you? Come back!
The Lichtgruber continued, seemingly not taking notice of the small creature.
I'm down here!
The creature said, feeling slightly confused as it waved its little hand to get the Lichtgruber's attention. The Lichtgruber stopped shouting and looked down at the creature. They're all gone. All my friends blew away with the wind. Don't they like me anymore? Why would they leave me?
The Lichtgruber sobbed as he covered his face with his shroud.
I didn't mean to scare them. I really didn't. You believe me, don't you?
The Lichtgruber continued as he regained his composure.
Sure I do. Say, what do your friends look like?
The small creature asked.
Maybe we can help you find them.
Well, they are small and bright looking. They live in my lantern, you see. Without them, I would never be able to find my way through these marshlands.
The Lichtgruber said, making a sweeping gesture through the air.
Is that one of my friends you have there on your shoulder? You aren't stealing my friends now, are you?
The Lichtgruber asked with a stern and almost threatening voice.
No, this is my friend. She can't fly, so there's no way she could be one of them.
The small creature exclaimed, protecting the Alva with its hand.
I see.
The Lichtgruber sighed in disappointment.
Would you at least please take my lantern and keep an eye out for my friends? 5 of them there are. I will remain here in case they should find their way home.
As the creature approached the bison, it opened its eyes, looking around to find the one who had awoken it from its sleep.
Hello?
The small creature said politely as it moved closer to the bison. The bison gave the creature a look of disgust but did not answer.
Who are you?
The creature asked, feeling slightly discomforted. The bison seemed to have lost interest in the creature and looked away. Feeling a slight tug on its ear, the creature took another look at the bison.
What is that cut on your head? Does it hurt?
It continued, even though the bison hadn't acknowledged its past remarks. The bison's face suddenly filled with anger. Its eyes started to roll in their sockets. Its mouth writhed and twisted with pain.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It must really hurt.
The creature said.
Is there anything I can do to help?
The bison seemed to have calmed down, giving the creature an insensible look before continuing its hysterical tantrum.
We should search for something to heal that grievous wound,
the creature said to the Alva, who responded with a determined nod.
Hello?
The small creature said cautiously, daunted by the terrifying beast before it. The Vitorm quickly jerked its head in the direction of the sound, staring into the small creature's eyes as it slowly waggled its head from side to side in a hypnotic fashion.
What do we have here? You should know better than to approach me, meat.
The Vitorm whispered menacingly.
I could swallow you and your friend there in just one bite.
I didn't mean to disturb you. We're just trying to find our way through these lands.
The small creature responded, slowly backing away. The Vitorm gave the creature a suspicious look, analyzing it from top to bottom.
You should consider yourselves lucky my hunger for food is quenched. However, my appetite for riddles is insatiable.
You're larger than a mouse, but smaller than a bear. Let's see if your mind matches your size. This one I heard told in times long past. I am reborn amongst my siblings. Together we are one. As I rise, I can see all of them look up at me in my newfound form. I travel together with my brothers and sisters as I fall, crashing down with them on the roof of the world. I slowly make my way down as more of my siblings join me. It is close now. I am reborn.
The creature stood silent for a while, deep in thought.
I don't know,
It said with a disheartened look.
Tsk, that one isn't even hard.
The Vitorm quickly retorted.
Stop wasting my time and get out of my sight before I grow hungry again.
Believe me, you don't want to be here when I'm hungry.
Hello? I think we've met before, haven't we?
The small creature asked the Natrum, who was already busy studying it, twitching its head back and forth.
A great ordeal fleeing into the devouring darkness, yes. Many shapes and figures lurking, yes. Ready to assist the darkness. Cannot get out. Sounds echoing from the depths.
The Natrum croaked and went silent for a while. Then, as if it had forgotten something, it continued.
A light, a blinding light, yes, leading the way out to the open sky. The darkness conquered, sealed away with rocks and stones. Safety!
The Natrum croaked and stared into the distance.
What will happen down the road?
The small creature asked.
Is there a way for us to find what we seek?
The Natrum stared at the creature for quite a while before opening its beak. As it was about to answer, it stopped itself and slowly closed its beak once more.
What's the matter? Is something wrong?
The small creature asked, feeling a chill go down its spine. Once again, the Natrum stared into the distance before turning to the small creature. This time, it spoke.
Unspeakable horror, no. But yes, what is being sought for can be found. A cave, evil, wicked. No, nothing remains but unspeakable horror. Nothing remains, no.
The Natrum croaked before suddenly taking off, as if in a hurry, disappearing into the woods below.
I hope he's not right this time.
The small creature said to the Alva as they watched the Natrum disappear among the trees. Upon moving through the gate, their eyes still adjusting to the darkness, the pair began to perceive a dim light stemming from the center of the chamber. Lodged in what appeared to be a crudely carved altar was the cup of Sigrin, decorated by etchings telling of acts long forgotten, a golden chalice which corrupts what is poured within it. Yet the pair had no way of knowing this, but simply marveled at its beauty as they remained still for a moment in the cold chamber.
Would it really be all right for us to take something like this?
The creature looked at the Alva, whose big eyes reflected the cup's glow.
I suppose it's of no use to anyone around here anymore.
It continued, respectfully removing the chalice from the indentation in the altar. Lying around the bones was a long rope, all of which looked to be in one piece. As the creature touched the skeleton, the skull fell off, exposing a burning airbloss.
That must be one of them.
The creature said to the Alva, who responded with a nod.
Where do you think the others might be?
The creature placed the stone tablet into the opening in the wall. As it was put into the opening, the tablet began to glow.
What do you suppose this means?
The small creature asked the Alva, as both of them tried to figure out the strange inscription. As soon as the droplet hit the stone, the cave started to shake, and from a crack in the altar emerged a strange and wondrous plant. The plant reacted as the creature's hand went through the transparent stem, giving off glowing spores in response to its touch. As they filled the air, the Alva let out a loud sneeze. The creature tied the rope to one of the thicker roots, pulling hard at it to make sure it wouldn't come loose.
Now, hold on tight, and I'll make sure we get down there safely,
It said as the wingless Alva nervously grasped its ear. Searching through the shattered planks, the creature found a wooden wedge. Just as it was about to turn away from the wagon, the Alva tugged on its ear, noticing a faint glimmer beneath its feet.
What beautiful craftsmanship!
The creature exclaimed, brushing aside the tall grass concealing an old necklace. As the starlight made its way down the ravine, something about the necklace seemed strange as the creature studied it. Its shine vaguely different from metals it had previously encountered. By
Using all of its strength, the creature managed to topple the rotten tree, creating a bridge to the other side. As the spores reached the Vitorm's nostrils, it couldn't help but to sneeze, and from its mouth a disoriented earbloss came drifting out. The Vitorm continued sneezing as it slithered away down the ravine, soon disappearing amongst the undergrowth. In its departure, it had left behind a mesmerizing piece of its shed skin. As the creature struggled for a while to fit the wedge into the hole, the bison's eyes and mouth stood wide open. The creature gave the alva a confused look, but then something happened. The ground started to crumble violently, and with the sound of roots snapping and twigs cracking, the bison rose from the ground. A loud creaking could be heard as it stretched out its arms before looking down at the small creature with the same insensible look as before. The creature didn't move an inch, and after a while, the bison turned around, marching into the swamp with giant steps, quickly disappearing from sight.
What was all that about?
The small creature asked its friend, as they both stared with big eyes after the bison.
That should be all of them.
The creature stated with a sigh of relief.
Perhaps we'll now be able to leave this place. My dear friends, you're safe with me once more.
The Lichtgruber quickly grabbed the lantern from the small creature's hands.
Oh, thank you for finding them. Is there anything I can do to repay your kindness?
The creature looked at the alva on its shoulder.
Well, we have been searching for something that could help her fly.
The small creature responded.
But so far, we haven't found anything at all.
The Lichtgruber pondered the creature's words for a moment before answering.
I know of a very old place. However, it's not somewhere I would like to take the two of you.
The Lichtgruber shook his head.
It's a frightening place, you see. No longer what it used to be.
And so the Lichtgruber began to lead the odd pair through the marsh. As they traversed the murky waters, the small creature wondered if it had chosen wisely, not so much worrying about itself, but for its fragile friend. Still, it didn't feel discouraged, but glad, relieved that their strenuous search might soon bear fruit. As the small creature looked around, it could see nothing but tall, dark trees encroaching on the clearing.
Where are we? Is there someone here that might be able to help her?
The Lichtgruber raised his lantern. This place, it wasn't always like this, you know. Over the years, it has been the destination of many ailing beings in need of help. Not anymore. It's been corrupted. We shouldn't have come.
The licked goober turned his attention towards the trees.
Some of them are still here.
The creature felt a nervous tug on its ear as it responded.
If you hadn't helped us, we would never have gotten out of the marsh. I don't think we have any choice but to move forward.
The creature looked at its friend before continuing.
If this place used to be as powerful as you said, there has to be someone still here that can help. I will make sure that no harm comes to her.
The creature tried its hardest to sound sure of itself, and its words seemed to calm the Alva down, if only a little.
Very well. If there is something that would be of help to you in this place, I hope you find it. Good luck to you both, kind friends. I bid you farewell.
The licked goober bowed before slowly fading away as he drifted back towards the marsh.
Don't be sad. Remember how far we've come. We'll find someone that can help you. Just you wait.
The creature said, giving the Alva a gentle pat on her head.
You will finally get your wings.
As the creature touched the pungent-smelling horn, it crumbled, turning to dust in its hands.
This place has an unsettling feeling to it.
The small creature whispered as they walked through the abandoned encampment.
Why did they leave all of their belongings behind?
When the creature brought its hand closer to the plant, it suddenly released glowing spores into the air. As they landed on the creature's hand, a strange numbness came over the affected skin. The small creature picked up the smelly haunch of meat. Inside the tent, the creature found a thin, slightly bent metal blade. As the creature rustled around in the ashes beneath the coals, it found a sooty horseshoe forged from steel. The creature picked up the cloth canvas, along with the partially corroded iron post.
Hello? Would you mind talking to us for a short while?
The ancient tree barely seemed coherent, the lucidity in his eyes fading between each word.
So tired, must not fall asleep. Help!
What should we do? He seems really scared.
The small creature looked at the Alva.
We need to help wake him up.
As the creature blew the smelling salt onto the ancient tree, he quickly recovered from his drowsiness.
Thank you,
He exclaimed in a drawn-out fashion, both eyes wide open.
thank you both. I almost fell asleep, you know, just like my brothers. You mustn't.
The ancient tree's voice turned mellow as he looked out across the campsite.
None of them wanted to talk to me, so I simply remained silent. Suddenly, it almost took me, the glow. Almost, but you made sure it didn't. That would have been bad, very bad indeed.
The ancient tree sighed.
I wish I could repay you, but unless you're in need of herbal knowledge, I'm afraid I can't offer you much in return. If you should happen to find any herbs you would like me to process, I'd be happy to help.
He said before munching enthusiastically.
Although I would need to rinse this horrible taste from my mouth before I could create a proper mixture. If you're in need of my help, could I first trouble you to find me something scrumptious that will restore my taste buds? Delicious!
The ancient tree exclaimed as he bit into the ripe blackberries.
It's been a long time since I tasted something like this. Good things don't like to grow here anymore, you see. Some beings infect everything they touch.
He muttered.
But no matter, when you need my assistance, come see me again. I should be able to create a proper mixture for you, provided you can find good ingredients in this place.
The ants didn't seem to mind the creature picking up a handful of the leftover straws.
What do you suppose that thing is over there? Do you see it?
The creature asked the alva, who was leaning forward in an attempt to spot the small object. As they approached it, the alva's eyes fixed on a particular part of the totem.
Do you like this one?
The creature asked, removing the blunt piece of flint from the totem.
Wow!
The creature quickly took a step back, surprised by the mangy arm that had suddenly appeared from below the cliff. As the drow fled into the woods below, the creature was able to move a bit closer to the cliff's edge. In its escape, a ring had fallen from the drow's finger, now glimmering in the darkness. The creature held it in its palm while they observed it. It almost appeared as if it had somehow been affected by the power of the sky's lightning. the gem decorating it clearly reflecting the star's light, almost amplifying their glow. The creature marveled at the beautiful plant as it slowly extended its tiny hand to pick it up. The creature didn't have any trouble pulling the thin blade from the moist soil.
Hello? We don't mean you any harm. Can you help us?
Gloson's red eye followed the creature's movements, her mouth watering in response to the feast presenting itself before her.
Never mind. We will get by somehow.
The creature stuttered as it quickly backed away from the huge beast. As the pair walked through the woods, the shimmering stars seemed more distant than before, eager to make room for the culmination of this darkest of nights.
Is the world getting brighter outside the forest?
The creature wondered as the pair watched the sky through the trees' canopies. With a quick snip of the scissors, the large plant fell down in the creature's hand. As it looked down at the plant, the once strong glow emanating from it was beginning to fade away. Suddenly, the alva fell from the creature's ear, luckily caught by a pair of frantic hands grabbing after her. The strange power present in the forest seemed to take its toll on her already fragile body.
How about these?
The creature asked as it presented the herbs to the tree.
Perfect. These would mix well. One moment, my friends.
The ancient tree cleared his throat before continuing to chew both plants into a thick salve. After chewing for a good while, he continued.
There you are. I hope this will aid you in some way. Be careful with it though. This turned out to be a very potent mixture.
Here you are. It looks very tasty, doesn't it?
The creature presented the haunch of meat before Gloson's frightening jaws. The gluttonous sow quickly sunk her teeth into the smelly flesh, instantly devouring sinew and bone alike. Not satisfied by the meal, she once more turned her attention towards the small creature fidgeting before her.
Good, wasn't it?
The small creature tried as her jaws opened. Then her expression changed, the hungry mouth turning into a wide yawn as she proceeded to rest her head against the moss-covered stone. As she fell into a deep slumber, the thorns emanating from her body retracted from the clearing. The creature smiled, its hands still trembling.
We're getting close. I can feel it.
As the pair arrived at the deepest part of the forest, an unnerving silence instilled itself in the clearing. Unbeknownst to them, they had arrived at the Copper Gate, a lost doorway to the oldest of mountains, rumored to contain treasures long since hidden from the eyes of men. As they stood there, the faint wind carried with it soft-spoken whispers in a strange tongue throughout the woods, spreading a sense of unease to plant and animal alike. The creature reached out with its dainty little hand and pulled out the chisel, almost falling over as it stumbled backwards to regain its balance from the effort. The creature reached down and picked up the two branches. The creature lifted the wet urn out of the muddy soil. Striking the piece of flint against the horseshoe caused tiny sparks to scatter onto the tinder. As it began to smolder, the creature carefully placed it in the fireplace, igniting the branches. As the creature held the chisel amongst the coals, the heat caused it to glow red, retaining the intensity of the fire for a short moment before beginning to lose its warmth. As the creature held the heated chisel against the base of the chain, the iron slowly began to glow red, allowing it to break the link holding the chain in place. As the pair silently beheld the totem, a warm energy began to spread from the boulders surrounding it. The radiant light quickly engulfed the clearing, amplified by the Vitorm's magical skin. As the shadowy being didn't seem to mind, the creature and Alva decided to borrow the pages and stone fragment hanging from its waist, hoping to find some sort of clue regarding the strange place they currently found themselves in. However, as they had a closer look, neither of them were able to make out the words scribbled on the torn pages.
Hello? Why were you following us?
The creature whispered, receiving no reaction.
What happened in these woods?
It tried, this time a bit louder, but still could not get the attention of the strange being. After placing the stone fragment, the creature quickly backed away in response to a loud crackling noise emanating from the statue, lasting but a moment before leaving room for the silence to reinstill itself in the clearing.
This should get things moving.
The creature said to the Alva as she emptied the contents of the urn onto the lowest parts of the lever. As the odd pair had moved further into the darkness beyond the copper gate, before the small creature's eyes had adjusted to the shadows, the Alva had suddenly been grabbed from its shoulder. A gigantic shape had picked up the helpless Alva and placed her inside a glass sphere strung up from the ceiling. 3 beings slowly emerged from the darkness, who didn't seem at all interested in the small creature standing before them, and appeared to be squabbling with one another.
Look at it! Look at it!
The fat-nosed troll chanted, enthusiastically pointing at the Alva with one of his chubby fingers.
It looks so yummy. Let me chew it a bit and I'll let you two know what it tastes like.
The fat-nosed troll made a guttural sound, spouting and drooling saliva as he mustered all his strength in an effort to grab the Alva. But the slim-nosed troll quickly gripped the glass sphere with his long, nimble fingers, keeping it out of the fat-nosed troll's reach.
The shiny one is doing fine right here in my ball. I found it. It's mine. Swallowing my shinies will be the last thing you do before I got you like a little fishy.
Quiet! Bugger Kangan bellowed, immediately bringing the argument to a halt.
I'm thinking,
he then continued, letting out a troubled sigh. Irritated by being interrupted, the slim-nosed troll quickly retorted.
Thinking? That's all you do? We have been sitting here for so long. I don't even know why we came to this place. I I say we leave and take the shinies with us.
Burger Kungan slowly turned his head towards the slim-nosed troll, giving him a dreadful glare. The slim-nosed troll responded, with his nose pointing upward.
Do what you want then. Search some more. Go ahead. You'll never find it here. Whatever it is you're looking for. I, however, have that which I desire right here.
He carried on as he gave the glass sphere a mischievous poke, making the alva tumble around inside.
You dummy! Of course you'd go and break it!
The fat-nosed troll exclaimed.
Don't raise your voice to me, you moronic glutton! I found it! I'll break it if I want to!
The slim-nosed troll grunted. Enough! Burger Kungan roared.
What's done is done. We all get one piece each of this trivial ball. End of discussion. There are more important things to attend to. I should have thought twice before bringing you two along on this expedition.
The slim-nosed troll mumbled something inaudible in response, bringing the conflict to an end. The small creature gathered its courage and approached the slim-nosed troll.
Hello?
It said with uncertainty in its voice. This time, noticing the creature, the troll quickly grasped his dagger.
What is this? A filthy little ball of hair straddling towards me. Coming for my shinies, you filthy burglar. Keep your distance, or you'll regret it.
The troll licked the blade's edge with a devious smirk on his face. The small creature stood, frozen in fear, not able to utter a single word in response. Realizing it posed little threat, the troll settled down and turned to his riches as he started to mumble to himself.
Filth, trying to steal my shinies. Too many to hide from prying eyes. Need something smaller, something pleasant to my eyes. Something shiny, yes.
Seeing the small creature approach from the corner of his eye, the slim-nosed troll quickly turned and snatched the pendant out of its hand.
Ah, I finally found it. I knew a special kind of shiny was around here somewhere.
The troll admired the pendant as he twisted and turned it in his hands before addressing the small creature reaching for it.
Now let's trade, shall we? I get one thing from you, you get one thing from me.
The troll took out his dagger, pressing it hard between his hand, causing it to bend into a crescent shape before handing it over to the creature. Without another word, the slim-nosed troll turned away, holding his new prized possession in front of his face, occasionally laughing with glee as he stared into the reflective surface of the pendant. As soon as the small creature came before him, the fat-nosed troll's fingers had surrounded its body, pinching and squeezing it.
How do you taste, I wonder?
The troll said, drooling as he pressed one of his fingers into the small creature's belly.
Are you filled with delicious fat? Maybe I could use your bones to pick my teeth with.
The troll was not gentle in his examination as he started to pull the creature's snout, trying to figure out the limits of its body.
Please stop. I don't taste good, I can assure you of that.
The creature shouted, causing the troll to release it, dumbfounded by its words.
Well, all right. No need to yell. You seem to be nothing but hair and bones anyway. Not very tasty at all,
he said, dismayed over yet another meal slipping through his fingers. Burger Kungan gave it a stern look as the quivering creature approached him.
What a surprise. A strange little newborn has wandered into our mountain all by itself. Why have you come here, little creature?
Burger Kungan asked, while curiously inspecting the tiny being standing before him.
To help my friend. We have been told this place can give her wings. They are missing, you see.
The creature said with determination, gathering all its bravery to not appear weak.
Was that the shiny little thing that fell down into the hole over there? If that's the case, I'm afraid you will never see her again.
Burger Kungan chuckled, but quickly returned to his stern voice.
You said you had heard about this place. Tell me what you know.
The creature dared not refuse Burger Kungan's request.
Well, that it once held some sort of ancient power.
The small creature explained in a slow, tentative manner. Burger Kungan sighed in boredom.
Bah! I thought you might be useful, but I suppose it's up to me to figure out the secrets of this place after all. I can't trust these two cretins, and you are no better. Waddle home to where you came from. You will find nothing here, and even if you had, it wouldn't have helped your friend to, what was it? Grow wings? Such stupidity!
Burger Kungan, irritated by the small creature's lack of knowledge, lost interest and returned to examining the cavern. The small creature held out the ancient writings in its hand, awaiting Burger Kungan's reaction.
Have you found something of use to me, little creature?
He mumbled as he began to rifle through the worn pages. Having been consumed by their contents for quite a while, he suddenly paused, cleared his throat, and read out loud.
Ek, Vok, Hauga.
As soon as the echo of his words rung out, two large stone plates had moved apart, revealing a large opening in the middle of the cavern.
Ah, you have done well, little creature. This might be the place I seek after all. Go down there and tell me what you see.
Burger Kungan commanded the small creature, who saw its chance to reunite with its friend. The small creature bent down and scooped up some of the spit into the cup of Sigrin. Suddenly, the mucus had turned green, and instead of water now flowed a putrid, endless stream of poison liquid. Out of curiosity, the creature picked up the strap to have a look at it. Recognizing the fine condition of the leather, it decided to keep it.
Hello? Are you okay down there? I'll figure out a way to help you out. don't worry.
The small creature reassured the Alva as it started to explore the new-found cave. Luckily for the creature, the dagger had been bent at an angle to slide perfectly into the cavity behind the gemstone. With some endeavor, the gemstone came loose, at the same time causing the dagger to return to its original shape.
I'm sorry. I hope it wasn't me who woke you up.
The small creature said, holding its hands in front of its face, struggling to look at the bright eye. Using the old canvas, the creature was able to pick up the hot gemstone. As soon as the eye's radiant gaze met the ring, an intense beam of light shot out of the ring's jewel, disappearing into the ceiling. Suddenly, a shriek of agony could be heard from the cavern up above.
My eyes, it burns. How is the wheel of heaven's wrath reaching us here?
The slim-nosed troll shrieked, desperately trying to cover his eyes from the ray of light pointed at his face. With the troll distracted, the small creature was able to sneak closer and nab the glass shard.
Who goes there?
The slim-nosed troll cried out, as he tried to make out who was approaching him through his fingers.
If even a single shiny is missing, I will find you and turn your skin inside out, you filthy thieves. The small creature took the ball of hair sitting at the end of Burger Kungan's tail in one hand and the sharp dagger in the other, as it carefully began to cut a few strands at a time until the tuft of hair came off. By carefully dusting around the fossil, the outermost layer of dirt around it came loose and accumulated in the creature's extended hand, revealing a set of bones sticking out from the cave wall. With the fossil uncovered and intact, the creature could easily pluck a couple of particularly pointy bones from it. The creature reached inside the casket and pulled out a dusty old tome, bereaved of one of its pages. Pouring the putrid contents of the chalice onto the mushrooms caused them to pulsate, letting off a cloud of spores before returning to their slumber. As
the creature emerged from the hole, it spotted the slim-nosed troll throwing the pendant on the ground, shattering it.
Filthy craftsmen who can't even separate fool's gold from the real thing. If I find them, I shall give them a quick departure from their pathetic existence.
Muttering and cursing, he turned back to rummage around in his treasure pile.
It's cursed, it's cursed.
The fat-nosed troll chanted.
The hunger, the itching, only bad luck comes my way ever since I got this piece of glass. I can find nothing to eat in this damnable place, and now my whole body burns. No more! Be gone with you, foul thing!
He screamed as he hurled his piece of the glass sphere onto the floor, quickly picked up by the small creature.
Are you all right?
The small creature exclaimed as the Alva emerged from the hole. She responded with a quick nod as she slowly stumbled over to rest on a nearby stone.
Don't you worry. You stay there and regain your strength.
Out of the darkness, a crackling and glowing stone emerged, lighting up the cave with its overwhelming energy as it levitated calmly above the altar. The creature once more presented an offering before Burgerkungen. The tome immediately caught his eye.
I recognize the runes on this book. It will surely unveil the true secrets of this place. Hand it over.
The creature followed his command and gave Burgerkungen the old tome.
It appears what I seek is indeed down in that hole. Bring it to me. There should be a way. Take this glass shard. It might be a key part in this. Make haste, little creature. My patience is growing thin.
As the creature moved across the chamber, 1 out of 4 similar altars carved out of the cave floor seemed to respond to its presence, faint whispers breaking through the silence of the cave. On a throne of 8, the golden wheel governs the day. As equals 2 walk beside one another in light, 5 acknowledge their place. Six remain shrouded, inhabiting the moonless night. Lowliest of all remains the earth dweller, ambition stifled by the wheel's light.
I don't know if I've made the right decision, but I feel this is our last chance to get you wings. Let's head up, shall we?
The small creature said to the Alva, who with a hearty nod once more crawled up behind its ear. At last, after all this time, it's within my reach, Burger Kungan proclaimed, looking at the Askston with hungry eyes.
This is what we have been looking for? A stone? A piece of worthless rock?
The slim-nosed troll spouted in anger, yet his words got drowned out by the fat-nosed troll's deep voice.
It must be a special rock, right? What does it do?
Burger Kungan began to explain in a calm, almost threatening voice. This, my brother, will keep us safe as the wheel in the heavens passes above our heads. It beckons and bends the mind of the dark clouds and the hammering they bring with them. He turned his attention to the small creature. Come now, little creature, hand it over to me, Burger Kungan commanded the small creature, seemingly hesitant to touch the crackling Askston directly himself. The small creature looked at the Alva and then back at Burger Kungan.
No, I will not.
Did you not hear me, little imp? I said, bring it to me, Burger Kungan roared, furious by the creature's refusal.
No, you don't deserve to have it.
The creature yelled without a shred of hesitation. You dare defy me? I will crush you. I will crush you beneath my feet, and I will take the stone myself. Dirt under my feet is what you are, after all. Enraged, Burger Kungan began to twist and turn to free himself from the mountain's firm grasp. In his struggle, the cavern began to crumble, light breaking through the cracks forming in the ceiling. No, not again. The light! Stop moving! The slim-nosed troll exclaimed in panic, yet his words did not reach the Troll King. The creature and Alva paused for a moment to watch as the sunlight turned the trolls into stone before making their way out of the chamber. Passing through the crumbling copper gate, the creature glanced over its shoulder, only to see a cold mountain wall, untouched by being and man alike, casting a calming shadow over the clearing. The weary pair, staggering along the forest path,
slowly made their way through the thick brush. As it happened, ending upon a path different than the one that led them there. As they felt the rise of the ground, the dark trees grew less imposing, allowing a wonderful view to greet their arrival at the top of the hill.
How beautiful!
The small creature gasped.
I think I'd like to remain here for a while if you wouldn't mind.
The Alva marveled at the sky as the creature carefully put her down on a slab beside it.
I'm sorry for not being able to help you. I know I promised.
The creature said with sad eyes kept at the muddy ground beneath its feet.
That place wasn't at all what I'd hoped it to be.
After remaining silent for a while, the creature nervously brought its eyes from the ground, greeted by the Alva's beaming smile. For although she could not speak nor fly, her glow appeared brighter than before. As they sat there looking out across the woods, the creature felt at ease, and embraced by the sun's rays breaking through the treetops, it slowly faded as night made way for dawn. The Alva remained, humming a sad melody while looking at the stone now sitting beside her. The song filled the clearing, and as she took the last note, a glowing pair of beautiful wings had appeared on her back. Looking at the stone one last time, eyes filled with gratitude, she then rose from the ground, disappearing amongst the trees' canopies. And that, my friend, is where this story ends. Make of it what you will this darkest of nights, be it truth or myth. I have but shared with you what was long ago told to me in the glow of a fire such as this one. I only hope that you'll take care where you trod this night, for as the story goes, it turns out even a small, in the scope of the world insignificant creature can be of significance to someone not that significant themselves.